Me, Muso, and Danny hanging out with you today. And right now, it's a pleasure to break up the male monotony with one of the best in the business. We're talking about Julie Boudwin of TigerDetails.com. Julie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me, T-Bob. It's a pleasure to break up this all-male party this morning.
Yeah, I know. It's getting a little sweaty, a little greasy, a little smelly in here. So you're going to have to help us out. All right. Okay. So in case our listeners have missed it, it's been a couple of big weeks. Catch our listeners up. 2 weeks ago, what went down here in Baton Rouge?
So Labor Day weekend, I'm assuming you're referring
Yes.
to the big Tiger turnout, which is being dubbed the big recruiting weekend, the big unofficial, informal recruiting weekend, because obviously the dead period is still in place. So there was over 10 of the top prospects in the country in Baton Rouge, and it was all organized by LSU quarterback commitment Garrett Nussmeier and his parents. His parents rented out an Airbnb on the Saturday night for the guys to kind of hang out. Yeah. I mean, from all accounts, it was a great time. Everyone I've spoken to, a lot of the guys and the parents said, they wish they had more time. They wish they would have got like the full experience, because just the abbreviated version of it was such a good time. I mean, to get the number one player, Korey Foreman, and his parents in town. And by the way, they stayed until Tuesday. They didn't leave until on Tuesday to head back to California. So they had an extra couple of days. Obviously Maason Smith, he made the short trip in from Homa. I mean, you had Tristan Lee, who's another big time prospect. He came in with his mom and his brother. They were there, and then they came in again last weekend. So I mean, some big time players in Baton Rouge the last couple of weekends.
Okay, and that's where I wanted to go next on the Tristan Lee front. We'll circle back to Foreman. But do we know, like, what was the idea behind him and his family coming back again for a second weekend in a row? And do you have any idea where he stands with LSU?
Well, so the initial plan, the Tiger turnout for Labor Day weekend, that popped up 2-3 weeks prior. So that was kind of last minute decision.
Okay.
And the weekend that just passed, this had been in the works already. This was I want to say it was that was supposed to be the Texas game. And that was the game that they were planning on attending this fall. And so they just decided to keep it and come. And it was him and his mom. He brought his sister for the first time, his girlfriend for the first time. From every time I've talked to him, his mom, anybody around him, he's very, very family oriented. And so he wanted everyone close to him. Obviously his sister, his girlfriend, his mom's been with him every time. His brother's been a couple of times. It was important for him, for those people that are close to him, to see a place that he's really, really considering. And as far as where he stands, I have a future cast in on him to LSU. So I think a lot of people believe that he's LSU's to lose right now. I don't anticipate him committing in the next couple of weeks or anything like that. All indication is they want to see if recruiting will open back up, if there'll be any visits allowed later this fall, and then I think he'll make his decision then. But I do believe that he's LSU's to lose at this point.
That is great news. And if there's anybody that knows how to recruit the family, I would say it is Ed Ogeron, understanding the importance of that. All right, so let's jump to the other big names. And you obviously have a very good relationship with Maason Smith. Maason Smith and Korey Foreman have a great relationship. You say Korey Foreman stayed until Tuesday. What were his thoughts after leaving the 225?
So the latest story just came out yesterday from our one of our national rivals analysts, and it was like some of the first quotes directly from Korey about the trip. I had spoken to his dad prior to them visiting, and then right after. So when I put a story out a few weeks ago, it was information from his dad. His dad told me, he's like, I want to give him a few days, let his emotions settle, let him work through whatever he's trying to figure out, and then see where his head's at, kind of thing. And that's kind of what this follow-up story that came out yesterday for Rivals was all about. And I mean, when I opened it and I read it, I was kind of shocked myself, because he said he was close to committing. And I did not expect that from an informal visit where you don't get the full experience. he basically said it was everything everyone has been telling him it was. He just needed to get on campus, see it for himself. He loved the people. I guess it was that Southern hospitality kind of thing. He loved the people. Obviously loved getting to spend time and hang out with Maason, who at this point, I mean, I would consider them best friends. They've called each other that. I know they're from two parts of the, country, one Louisiana, one California, but they're as tight as two friends can possibly be in this whole recruiting situation. And they were very, very impressed. And his dad mentioned this to me a week or so ago when I spoke to him. They were very impressed by the Pluckers sign. So shout out to Pluckers.
Let's go, Pluckers! Yes. Wait. They loved what? What did they love about it so much?
His name was on it, and they just loved seeing his name up there. I guess it was like an extra. The little things.
Yes.
He tweeted that out. It's all about the little things. And, they just felt like people cared and people wanted them here. So they really liked that as well.
Hey, look, crazy LSU fans, if you're listening, I know you love billboards more than anything in the world. Next time Korey Foreman comes to town, let's have a billboard ready to roll. Also, Zippies, your sign always has it going. Let's get on it next time. Shout out Pluckers
Right.
holding it down.
Right.
Okay, dude, Julie, that's crazy. I did not expect it. I did not expect to hear that. So how did Maason Smith and Korey Foreman get so close? Did they meet through recruiting? Did they have any previous ties?
Yeah, I mean, so they met last year at the opening in Dallas. They spent 4 days together. They both told me very similar stories. They were kind of the what they thought was the underdogs. They weren't the older guys yet. They weren't the big names perhaps that they are now. They were the underclassmen, and not a lot of underclassmen were there. So, I mean, they kind of just bonded, got along. They kind of felt like, I don't know, I guess outcasts, you can say, because they were the underclassmen. And they bonded from there. And, I mean, they only spent 4 days together last year at that opening in Dallas. And then the next time that they saw each other in person was a few weeks ago at Georgia when they visited Athens, and then LSU for Labor Day weekend. So that's the only in-person time that they've spent together. But they'll tell you, I mean, they talk daily. I mean, I've been around Maason at some of his training when, he'll just pick up the phone and FaceTime Korey, and it's like two old friends that have known each other for a long time. They have a lot of similar goals, a lot of similar dreams, and they know that if they team up in college, I mean, who's going to stop them? Which one are you going to double team?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So that's kind of their thought process on it. If they stick together in college, I mean.
So are they a package deal? Are they a package deal? Are they saying that?
They say they are. Yeah. I mean, look, these things. I mean, you know how recruiting works. I mean, it's very hard to. These things don't typically work out. You know that. I know that. But I mean, if any was going to work out, I truly believe that this might be the one. I truly think that, but for the two of them, it's going to come down to LSU and Georgia.
Okay, last one. Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you on the way out here, kind of where Maason Smith's head is at. That sounds like it's very good news on the Korey Foreman front. How is Smith feeling right now?
Right. I still think Maason is LSU to lose. I have a future pass. I've had a future pass in on him for a while to LSU. For me, it just makes too much sense. He's in LSU's backyard. He's in Ed's backyard. He's a D-line. That's Coach O's specialty. It makes too much sense. But, I mean, I don't count Georgia out by any means because 3 weeks ago when he visited Athens for that informal weekend, he had a great time. And that was his first time at Georgia. And he has a great relationship with them. But I still think everything circles back to LSU. I mean, he's from here. His family's from here. His grandma's still here. I think he's LSU's to lose, but don't count out Georgia just yet.
Julie Boudwin, Tiger Details. She is the best. Go follow her on Twitter at Julie_Boudwin. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Julie.
Thanks for having me, T-Bob.
Also a proud Nichols girl there. Let's go. Go Colonels. Swords up. I think that's what UNO actually says. Go Privateers as well. Wrapping up the show next. OTBOT.